Hi, everybody. I don't feel well today. My stomach is making sounds like someone is trying to airdrop it a photo, but I'm going to record this nevertheless. Let's get into my updates. My apple cider vinegar update. It's still in my cabinet. I'm not sure what's going on. I lost track of time. It doesn't seem like it's turning into vinegar. I added a little bit of store bought apple cider vinegar with the mother to my vinegar to see what would happen, to encourage the development of a SCOBY or a mother or whatever you want to call it. I also decided to move my store bought apple cider vinegar to the cabinet instead of keeping it in the fridge to encourage growth of the existing mother. We'll see what happens. I have a spaghetti in a Ziploc bag update / sighting. My sister, who I've spotted the first bag of spaghetti with, saw another bag of spaghetti, Ziploc bag of spaghetti. It was a Ziploc bag of cooked nude spaghetti in a communal kitchen fridge at a rooftop party. She also reported that there was a Costco cake that was good, which prompted me to remember the absolute pandemonium that happened during the pandemic when Costco got rid of its sheet cakes because people were no longer gathering and the country almost collapsed. Yard update. A deer is leaving her fawn at Brian's parents' house. You know how deer drop their fawns off often in people's yards as like a nursery situation for the day? The fawn sleeps next to the driveway and gets scared and runs away anytime a car pulls in. Brian's parents leave big piles of deer corn out in their yard for the deer. Only certain times of the year, more in the winter time, which is great because it encourages them to not eat my roses. They eat the corn instead. Although it does make me think that the deer might think of Brian's parents' house as like a Walmart or something, maybe like a McDonald's. They're just like dropping their fawn off at the McDonald's parking lot for the day. Okay, I have an ongoing fire risk update. As I told you, the Wilson building at UNC Chapel Hill that houses all of the archives is closed. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to research that recipe collection this summer. Well, my update is a theory that I had. So I mentioned that they have 6 fire watchers during the day to make sure that the building doesn't catch on fire, and only 1 at night. Now, my original theory was, well, they must think that fires are less likely to start at night. I think what it is that fires are easier to see in the dark, so you only need 1 person. I have a link. Let me click on it. Oh. One of my friends sent me a I don't even know how to describe this. She knows that I keep a food log, so she sent me a food log from Georges Perec, attempt at an inventory of the liquid and solid foodstuffs ingurgitated by me in the course of the year 1974. And then there is a photo of him. He looks crazy. Attempt at an inventory. Georges Perec was born in Paris in 1936 and died in the same city, blah, blah, blah. So it's just like a listed inventory of everything that he eats. I'll just read you 1 paragraph so you can get an idea. 9 beef broths, 1 iced cucumber soup, 1 mussel soup, 2 gemene andouille, 1 jellied andouillette, 1 Italian charcuterie, 1 saveloy, 4 mixed charcuterie, 1 coppa, 3 pork platters, 1 figatelli, 1 foie gras, 1 fromage de tête, 1 boar's head, 5 Parma hams, 8 pâté, 1 duck pâté, 1 liver pâté with truffles, 1 pâté en croûte, 1 pâté grande mère, 1 thrush pâté, 6 lande pâté, 4 bronze, 1 foie gras mousse, 1 pig's trotters, 7 rillettes, 1 salami, 2 saucisson, 1 hot saucisson, 1 duck terrine, 1 chicken liver terrine. Sorry, I mean, like, what a struggle for French pronunciation. So every paragraph is categorized. I'll read another one. 1 milk-fed lamb, 3 lamb cutlets, 2 curried lambs, 12 gigots, 1 saddle of lamb, 1 mutton cutlet, 1 shoulder of mutton. So the chicken paragraph, rabbit, kidney, there's a whole kidney paragraph, pastas, salads. The salad paragraph is super short. Ooh, there's a 75 cheeses. There's fruit, chocolate. Ooh, and then wines. The wine list is pretty long. Wow. So this is excellent and inspirational to me. I don't know how to. Someone sent me a link to the PDF, so I don't really know how to share it, but like I don't know what book it's called. Anyway, sorry, I am delusional, or not delusional. I feel like I'm in a fever dream right now. 2 more notes. If you say the word eats, I'm going to kill you. Eats, not like that eats, like she eats. Like, I don't really care about that. The use of the word eats bothers me when, let's say, a restaurant says good eats or Andalusian eats. I don't know. Eats as a concept, as a noun, really bothers me. It's like when people say I did a thing. It's like, oh, you gotta stop. Okay, and then my final update is a thought that I had about the new Minions movie. I'm not really tuned in on Minions, but I did have a thought that it would be really smart for a steakhouse to release a filet mignon special that's called a filet mignon. Okay, let's move on to scents. As you know, I ordered a new batch of samples. I was really excited to try an Orme scent. So I pulled this blindly. This is a blind review. Let me read you the official description first. Yvonne. She wore great feminine fragrances, tender roses, smitten by red fruits. The inspiration. Yvonne is a modern homage to the classical feminine perfumes. The scent of red fruits brightens the roses and cypre notes. Top, grapefruit, bergamot, marigold, blackcurrant, pink pepper, heart, rose, jasmine, peach. Base, vanilla, benzoin, tonka bean, sandalwood, patchouli. You know, I'd really think that I would have loved this, but let me read you my blind review. Assorted chapsticks. 90s lip smackers chapstick. Cherry chapstick. A pack of Starbursts. Walking past the corner of the mall that has a Bath and Body Works and or a Yankee Candle store and a coffee shop. Fades to a vanilla potpourri. Potpourri. I was shocked when I looked at the label and saw that it was Orme. Orme? Almost took a second shower to wash the scent off. Deeply disappointing. If you're not familiar with this brand, I know it's marketing. The marketing got me. It's like this guy who makes sense based off of really specific memories from his childhood, like paper or schoolhouses or other things that are super specific. And I mean, it is nostalgic. It brought me right back to my, what's that like cherry chapstick brand from the 90s? Well, it's called Chapstick. That's the brand. The cherry chapstick. Chapstick cherry chapstick. So I guess he accomplished what he was going for. Okay, let's move on to the internet. I found a hot picnic tip from this video, which kind of surprised me. So it's telling you to baste your bread with olive oil to prevent your bread from going soggy. And they do a test where they fill sponges with blue liquid, like on a period pad commercial. And yeah, the baguette that's sealed with olive oil doesn't absorb any of the liquid. So that's a great tip if you're making picnic sandwiches. What was I gonna say? Oh, I always thought that cheese was the answer to that. Like, put cheese down on either side, and it's like a wax barrier. And then you put your condiments on the inside of the cheese that's touching the rest of the sandwich. That might work. Okay, let's move on to this other TikTok video. This guy is talking to his mom, asking her what Watergate cake is, and she's making it for him. It's called Jay and Stephanie Try Stuff. My mama's Watergate cake is my all-time favorite cake. It looks awful. Light pistachio-flavored sheet cake topped with fluffy whip topping, and it's Cool Whip, and chopped nuts. Okay. It's yellow cake mix, instant pistachio pudding, eggs and oil, water, Cool Whip, pistachios. Optional is crushed pineapple or vanilla pudding variation depending on family recipe. And it's a beautiful light green color. I'll never be making that. Okay, someone made a TikTok video where they added a lit charcoal to their jar of pickled onions, and people in the comments are losing their minds. Alf's Kitchen. You make pickled red onions as one does. You light a charcoal, you put it in for like 20 minutes, and then you remove it before you put it in the fridge. Yeah, people hated this. People like, you're not supposed to eat grilled charcoal. It probably has lighter fluid all over it. It's like you want your... What are the comments? I'd rather just smoke a cig while eating pickled onions. Charcoal is not something you should eat. It has tar. I mean, yeah, why would you want it to... I don't get, like, smoked stuff. It's like, do you want it to taste like it caught on fire? Okay, let's move on to another TikTok video. Oh, Lunchables were designed by Big Tobacco from KQED News. Oh, God. New study in the American Journal of Public Health relies on internal corporate documents to chronicle how the tobacco giant applied... Which tobacco giant? Why won't they tell us? Applied cigarette research to its development of ultra-processed foods. This makes sense to me. I will say that my old coworkers at UNC Library, they and one of the California universities built a giant database of all of the emails from some large tobacco companies as part of a giant lawsuit they were part of. They had to release all of their emails, and a couple large universities were tasked with making these emails publicly available in a giant database, and you can read through them. I did try and look for recipes in that in the same way that I try to look for recipes in the Epstein files. The recipes were not... It was not exciting. It was just like corporate. The only recipes that I could find is like they were trying to develop vape flavors, and they were coming up with vape flavors, so it wasn't really relevant. Oh, and they were like pairing vape flavors with foods. They would put out recipes for the food to... It was disgusting. Okay. Ooh, here's a TikTok video. What's your name, ma'am? Mrs. Brown's Kitchen. She's making a Dr. Pepper pie. one of the first comments is, "Are you in America?" And she's not actually, she's in Canada, surprise, surprise. So she's making a Dr. Pepper pie, and she uses a homemade vanilla pudding mix that she keeps in a giant container. And my favorite comment on this video is from Menki515. "How much pudding do you make on a regular basis that it's worth it to make your own mix?" And I said, "I would also like to know." Boxed pudding is not good. It's not good enough that I would want mass quantities of it on hand at any time. Maybe her homemade version is better. But as you know, I'm over the whole adding a box of pudding mix to cake. I don't wanna eat cake that has pudding mix in it. That's just not for me. I told my mom about the rum cake and, my bundt cake and all that, and she said she's gonna order this, coffee cake for us to eat at Christmas time, and I'm really excited. I think that's what I want at the end of the day. I want coffee cake. Okay, I don't know if anybody's heard about the cake pop legal drama. I'm kind of over at this point. There are these 2 food creators who, one sued the other for copying her Fruity Pebble flavored cake pops. Um, I think the case was dismissed. There's some IP lawyers on TikTok explaining why you can't sue someone for copying a recipe. You can sue someone from, like, reprinting the creative part of your recipe, like the paragraph you write before it, or but you can't stop someone from reusing a recipe because it's information, it's facts, it's process. Anyway, stop making Fruity Pebble flavors is what I'm just, like, making Fruity Pebble making, like, a cake first of all, you didn't invent cake pops. You just made cake pops, added a commercial product to it, Fruity Pebbles, which is also not original. Everybody's doing go to any coffee shop in America, and they have a Fruity Pebble flavored latte on their menu. Nothing that she's doing is original, and then she's suing another creator for also making Fruity Pebble cake pops. It's ridiculous. Um, when I worked at Milk Bar, we would always have bottles of cereal milk in the fridge. Nobody ever bought the cereal milk, but we always had bottles of cereal milk. People always went for the soft serve, but we'd have a rotating second flavor. Sometimes it was Fruity Pebble milk, which was disgusting. Sometimes we had pretzel milk, which was also disgusting, but I loved it. The pretzel milk soft serve was great too, but rare. Um, I don't know, something about Fruity Pebbles is disgusting to me. I've never liked Fruit Loops or Fruity Pebbles, and I think it falls into that category of bubblegum/tutti frutti, where it's, like, reminiscent of fruit, but it's all fake. Okay, here is a story that unfortunately I didn't actually read into, so my reporting on it is gonna be vague. Michelin Restaurant Guide has officially teamed up with Sysco Foods, your favorite distributor. So who is this creator? Zefsoid, who I see sometimes. I don't know who this person is. Sysco was acquired by Restaurant Depot for $29 billion, which we talked about a few months ago. Um, while they've quietly joined forces with the premier fine dining rating system, eating out will now forever be changing. Um, I can't read this TikTok because it's scrolling. So I don't know, like, is the Michelin Guide gonna be, like, recommending places that use Sysco for their food? Or it would be nice if we had some transparency, like, you could look on a map and see whether or not the restaurant you were going to, uses Sysco food or not. Actually, I think this is an ad, and that's what they're advertising, like an app where you can actually see that. Anyway, yikes. Um, here's a TikTok video of Russian candy that I enjoyed. This person's name is Lubashul_food. Soviet candies. They have really good packaging, really good wrappers. Ooh, a sour bright pink caramel. I really want that. It's what is it? Oh, a barberry caramel. Ooh. There's so many barberries at that Suck Global store that someone got shot at outside of Durham. When I was looking, what was I looking for? I was looking for not craisins, currants to make Irish soda bread, and everybody just had barberries. Anyway, I'm super interested in Russian candy. Maybe that'll blow up next, like Swedish candy. I keep seeing frozen Shirley Temples on TikTok. This place called Nasto's Ice Cream, which is an insane thing to call your restaurant, made a frozen Shirley Temple. I can't really tell what's in it. Cherry vanilla ice cream float is one of the keywords, so maybe that's it. Tell us what's in it. Okay, it looks like cherry ice cream mixed with maybe cherry sorbet and Sprite, and then topped with whipped cream and a cherry. I love that, but if we want to get picky, grenadine, which is the flavoring for Shirley Temple, is pomegranate flavored, not cherry. Blonde. Here's my last, no, I'm lying, third to last TikTok video. Benjamin the Baker, who I love, shows you what happens to blondies when you add different quantities of baking powder. I would highly recommend that you check out this video. It's very interesting. The more you add, I mean, you can sort of guess what happens, but I wasn't expecting them. Like, if you put a full tablespoon in, the edges stay cakey, but the middle collapses and sinks in and gets fudgy, which seems pretty ideal. Contrast of flavors. Okay, unfortunately, Tapatio has fallen. Sorry if you like Tapatio hot sauce. My microphone is like 50 feet away from my face. Hold on. Okay. I'm like sunk down into the couch. It's over. They've been purchased by private equity. RIP. Wait, what is this comment? I'm just going to read this comment that I pasted, and it's actually not only Tuscany, but the center of Italy in general. There's two historical reasons for it, where the Pope taxed salt so much in certain regions he had beef with, and the people weren't able to afford it. Italian food is undersalted in Italy. Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't link back to the video, of course, but someone was talking about why Italian bread doesn't have salt in it or is very undersalted and is very plain. And I've always wondered this. And eating Italian food in Italy, it always tastes undersalted. Everything is undersalted. But apparently there are historical reasons for it. I didn't fact check this, but Pope taxing certain regions would maybe make sense. Okay, I have an Instagram category this week. I have one link. We are going to the Instagram profile of La Cantine, my favorite tiramisu maker. They have a new tiramisu flavor, and it's not loading. Okay. Well, I think it's blueberry and sweet corn, which I thought was disgusting. Okay, it's not loading, so we're going to move on. I have a debut category, debut internet subcategory this week, Facebook. Brian sent me this because he goes around on Facebook looking at crazy things. Remembering Sybil's restaurant in Creedmoor. My dad was going through some things. Someone found a pocket knife from an old restaurant close to me. No longer exists. But everybody on Facebook is reminiscing about all the items they had, and I thought it was interesting. They had the best chili cheeseburgers and hot fudge cakes I ever had. Ooh. Best big old cheeseburger combo, fried chicken livers, hot fudge cake again. Oh, apparently it was a truck stop as well. My grandma Edma Bunn worked at both locations. She also lived upstairs. They had the best hot fudge cakes ever. What is a hot fudge cake? Oof. Yep, Sybil's used to be right where Bojangles was, across from Cookout. Good food and service. What else? What else did they serve there? Good country cooking, they're saying. Guys, what is a hot fudge cake? Hold on. Hot fudge cake. Hot fudge cake is a decadent dessert famous for the... Oh, is it just like a lava cake? Yeah. Okay. And then finally, the Valley. On the Valley this week, Tom Schwartz. It was revealed that Tom Schwartz once tipped a stripper with a $50 Applebee's card. Okay, let's get into what I ate last week. June 29th, 2026. 7 a.m., counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 9 a.m., grilled Gouda on olive oil toasted Mount Athos fire sourdough made at home. 12 p.m., pasta salad made at home. 3 p.m., Milton salt and pepper crackers and cherries. 5:30 p.m., Thai green curry with ground pork, tofu, Romanesco, and Thai basil over basmati rice made at home. 6 p.m., a glazed seashell cake made at home. So someone mentioned chicken Kiev in Bored to Death, which I already got through all 3 seasons in 1 week, or maybe a week and a half. So anyway, Brian went down a rabbit hole trying to come up with the perfect version of it. I've never had one, so I don't really have a point of reference for it beyond comparing it to a chicken cordon bleu, which I used to have growing up, the frozen version by Barber Foods. My mom used to buy that. Also, my mom sent me a recipe from Milk Street saying that they do a chicken Kia version with ground chicken so that it's easier for everything to stay inside of it, which seems great, but I think ground chicken is also disgusting. It turns into like the texture of a hot dog. I don't know how to prevent that. Anyway, the more Brian and I talked about what the perfect version would be, the more we realized that what we really want is a fried chicken cutlet brushed with garlic and parsley butter like a slice of garlic bread. I made more pasta salad, this time with shells, which sort of hold all the things very nicely inside of them. Shredded carrots, shredded white onion, parsley. The sauce was Duke's, apple cider vinegar, mustard, sugar, garlic powder, and salt. Now let's get into these seashell cookies. I did some black and white cookie research. And of course, the first place that I stopped was thepancakeprincess.com. She did a black and white cookie bake-off. So the crowd favorite recipe was from something called Baked. I guess it's a bakery. The most traditional, per taster comments, goes to the recipe from Baked. Best for lemon lovers, Epicurious, New York Times. Baked. Best cakey cookie, New York Times. Epicurious. Baked. King Arthur. So I was going for something cakey. Lemon doesn't feel traditional to me, but I do love lemon. And people did argue about whether or not the lemon flavor was traditional or not. Apparently, it was popularized by, what is it, Russ and Daughters, the bagel place in New York. They do almond and lemon flavorings. And that's what the New York Times recipe does. I considered using the Junior's Bakery glaze recipe. Okay, so here's what I did. I used the baked recipe for the base of these seashell cookies. Well, let me start over. I wanted to make black and white cookies, but I had this seashell tray. So I thought, let me just make the black and white cookies in a seashell tray. It's very similar to a Madeleine tray. So I used the baked recipe since that was so highly rated. And I used Ina Garten's glaze recipe. Mostly because I just liked the way it looked. And I made just the white. I didn't make the chocolate glaze. I just made the white glaze, and I colored it as like a sky blue teal, baby teal color. At first, they tasted like muffins, not black and white cookies. And then I remembered the Italian ricotta cookies that my sister makes for the holidays. They are better the next day, and they are based off of a black and white cookie. So I thought, let's put them in a Tupperware and see what they taste like the next day. And they were better. Even 8 hours later in a Tupperware, they were better. They tasted exactly like an Entenmann's glazed donut hole. They were kind of divine. It wasn't really what I was looking for. I was looking for like a super processed black and white cookie. What I ended up getting was like a super processed Entenmann's glazed donut hole slash muffin, mini muffin, which is great too. Um, I will say, and I say this with in the best way possible. When my sister, she has a knack for finding and making recipes that produce products that taste like a really processed snack in the best way possible. And this feels like one of those recipes that my sister would have made, mostly because it reminds me so much of the Italian ricotta cookie. Now I want to make those again and compare. Because let's see, the Karen's black and white cookie base. Let me just see what was in it. I think I used buttermilk, flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, butter, sugar, 2 large eggs. I left out the egg yolk. Also, I was halving the recipe, so I wasn't gonna do half a egg yolk. And the Epicurious recipe was basically the same, but without the egg yolk, so I was like, I'll just not put the egg yolk in." Buttermilk, vanilla, lemon zest. I used a Meyer lemon. I also put Meyer lemon juice in the glaze, so they were extra lemony, sort of like the Italian ricotta cake cookies. Also, you can find the Italian ricotta cake cookie recipe on the New York Times app. It is I cannot recommend it enough. Just make sure you wait 24 hours before eating them because they're best on the second day onward. Okay. I'm looking at my notes. I have a ton of notes on this recipe. Blah, blah, blah. They kind of reminded me of like a 90s seashell soap. Blah. I think the next time I want to make them again. I think I would try the New York Times recipe. And then someone in the New York Times recipe comment said that real Jewish delis don't use dairy in their black and white cookies. So these recipes are all corrupt, which is fair. I mean, I went to Whole Foods, and bought the processed black and white cookies at the store to read the ingredients, but also test them and compare them to the homemade version I just made in seashell form. No dairy. I mean, it was so processed. It's like, okay, like I can't believe they're selling them in Whole Foods. But here's what I think is going on. Okay, before recent, I hadn't had a black and white cookie in so long. And I've been craving them, and I had an idea of what they tasted like in my mind. And the only black and white cookies I've had in the last 6 months have been from Katz's and Whole Foods. Super highly processed version. And so in the absence of having anything to compare to, nope, I have no frame of reference besides my memories. They tasted amazing. They were heavenly. So when I made the homemade version, I was like, these don't taste like black and white cookies. Like they're good, but they're not black and white cookies, which I still stand by. But here's the thing. I ate the homemade version. Brian was obsessed with them. Went to Whole Foods to get the processed version just to retrigger my memory and see. They were disgusting. They were gross. They weren't what I wanted. And after having something homemade, I realized how much better it was. It's all relative. It's like tasting things is so relative. Like eating a piece of Hershey's candy after a month of no sugar will either taste like the most magical thing you've ever eaten or absolute garbage. It's like eating a Reese's peanut butter cup after going out and eating a nice chocolate mousse will make you wonder how you ever ate a Reese's peanut butter cup, but wait a few months and just randomly eat a Reese's peanut butter cup and it'll taste amazing. It's all relative. Anyway, in conclusion, I'm going to keep making black and white cookies at home. I just need to figure out the right balance of flavors, the right recipe, and I'm going to go for the New York Times recipe next, I think. I'll keep you updated. I don't have an appetite this week, so I probably won't be making them because I'm sick. But okay, June 30th, 2026, it was a Tuesday. 7 a.m., counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 9 a.m., leftover curry with rice. 12:30 p.m., grilled Gouda on butter-toasted Mount Athos fire sourdough made at home. 4 p.m., glazed seashell cookies. 7:30 p.m., leftover curry with rice. My Mount Athos fire sourdough was basically on fire because I burnt it. I have to tell you, I burnt this entire bag of sourdough. Every single time I made a grilled cheese, I burnt the sourdough, and I don't know why. I'm just like so obsessed with the things that I'm doing that I just keep setting the house on fire. Okay, so I hold on one second. I gotta pause. Sorry, Brian was texting me. I thought maybe something bad happened, but he was just asking me if I was still sick. Yep. Okay. I have to say, I bought both coconut milk. Oh, okay, let me back up. I bought a can of coconut cream at Whole Foods because I ran out of coconut milk. It was awful. I went back and bought coconut milk. So they have two different things, coconut milk and they have coconut cream at Whole Foods. They're both absolute garbage. You can't use them for a curry. It's just coconut fat. I don't know if they put the wrong thing in the wrong can, but I'm so confused. Totally ruined the curry again. I had to add, well, I ordered a huge $70 pallet box of Chowco coconut milk. And that finally arrived to my house, and I added a can of that, but I don't know, like, American grocery store canned coconut is absolute garbage. You have to get Chowco or one of the other Thai brands. I added a pack of firm tofu. 6 months expired in the curry and cooked it out for about 3 hours, and it got so soft and nice. Um, anyway, July 1st, 2026, it was a Wednesday. 6:30 a.m., counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. Cake room. New York Times cooking page a day calendar recipes for orange creamsicle ice cream cake. Brothy Thai curry with silken tofu and herbs. Citrusy roasted salmon and potatoes. Caramelized corn and asparagus pasta with ricotta. Cheesy spinach bake. And skillet chicken thighs with broccoli and orzo. And a note that says sheet cake from BJ's, chocolate and vanilla. Help yourself in the fridge. I opened the fridge. There's nothing in there. Worst day of my life. Okay, 10 a.m., leftover curry and rice. 11 a.m., cold brew with half and half from Meantime Coffee in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. 4 p.m., 3 black and white cookies from Whole Foods. 5:30 p.m., chicken katsu with bulldog tonkatsu sauce and romaine lettuce with Brianna's creamy Caesar dressing and Parmesan made at home. I really would have loved to try the BJ's sheet cake and to have some sort of comparison to the Costco sheet cake or even the Sam's sheet cake or a Walmart cake. I really like the Harris Teeter sheet cake. So I would like to maybe one day have all of them in the same room, see what happens. I wonder who would win. Okay, I went to the student-run coffee shop and ordered a cold brew, and the student spilled my coffee twice. I'd never seen him working there. He filled the coffee all the way up to the edge and then tried to hand it to me. His hands were furiously shaking. Maybe it was his first day. I felt really bad. He had to take the coffee back and wipe it down and refill it, and then it spilled again. I mean, I said, "I really appreciate you filling it up to the top. It's really nice, but this is crazy." I didn't tell him it was crazy. Okay, Brianna's creamy Caesar dressing is amazing, but why I just realized that it's Brianna's without an apostrophe. So are there multiple Briannas making the dressing? It's also in all capital letters. Brianna's. It's like bananas. The the frozen dairy sale at Whole Foods was still going on when I went to Whole Foods on this day after work. So I got more Jenny's ice cream. I tasted the salty caramel flavor, which I bought for Brian because he loves salty caramel. We've established what his favorite ice cream flavor is. Not cake flavor yet. It's okay. The quality is comparable to Haagen-Dazs. It tasted too much like burnt sugar, and it was too salty in my opinion. Brian did not think it was too salty, but he eats ramen packets with double salt. I was not interested in it enough to have a full bowl. I also got coffee flavor. I got Boston cream pie, which one of my sisters says is not worth buying again. And I got a lemon blueberry flavor that my other sister said tastes like lemon posset. So maybe I'll like that. But my other sister said, okay, one of my sisters is making homemade ice cream. She said nothing compares. You just got to make your own homemade ice cream. I know that she's right, but I'm just not motivated enough or a big of an ice cream fan enough to make homemade ice cream. My dad mailed me 2 KitchenAid ice cream attachments in the mail, and I forgot about them, and my other sister, who doesn't have one, texted me and was like, "Don't you have 2 of those? Can I have one?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, let me look at that." Pulled it out. So I have 2 bases. I don't have any of the attachment parts. You need, like, the churner, and then you need the actual attachment to hook it onto your KitchenAid mixer. I don't have any of those. So I basically have garbage. So I don't know if I'll ever make homemade ice cream. Buying the replacement parts, I mean, okay, this was rough. I bought Brian one year the meat grinder attachment for the KitchenAid mixer, the nice metal version, not the plastic. He never used it. Finally, I was like, "Why don't we use the meat grinder?" Got it out. It was missing one tiny part and we couldn't use it, and I couldn't find the replacement part anywhere, so we had to throw it away. Or, like, I think I found a replacement. It was, like, as expensive to replace it as to buy a new one, and I was like, "This is stupid." So, I'll turn it by hand. I gotta say I made an excellent chicken katsu. Super crispy. Maybe the best yet, or I haven't had it in a while. I usually you do a mayonnaise as the wet, but I did buttermilk, egg, and mustard instead. Pretty good. I think the mayonnaise is better, but I'm low on mayonnaise right now. The only mayonnaise I have is a glass jar of the Graza mayonnaise that I got on sale at Whole Foods. I haven't tried it yet. I have not cracked it open. I do need to go to Food Line and see if they have Dukes on sale. They usually have Dukes on sale during the summer. I need more mayonnaise. Katsu was so crispy that after I cut it up, there was a pile of crispy breadcrumbs on the board, and I put it over the Caesar salad that I made. Perfect crouton. July 2nd, 2026 was a Thursday, 6:30 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half made at home, 9:30 a.m. Leftover pasta salad with a soft-boiled egg made at home, 12:30 p.m. Grilled provolone and Gouda on olive oil toasted Mount Athos fire sourdough made at home, 2 p.m. Jenny's darkest chocolate ice cream with Trappist raspberry jam, 6 p.m. a leftover chicken cutlet with ketchup, 8 p.m. 2 black and white cookies from Whole Foods. I got pre-sliced deli provolone for 50% off at Whole Foods, which feels safer than buying 50% off deli meat. I don't think it's gonna go bad. I mean, I'm still eating that provolone. I actually just made a provolone grilled cheese today, that's all I've eaten. Provolone I think I ate provolone when I was sick when I was little, and I associate the taste of provolone with being sick, so it's weird that I'm eating it while I'm sick now. It's all flooding back. Brian bought this 2 pitchers brewing grapefruit and blood orange radler, which was kinda bitter and strange tasting, sorta like vomit. Apparently, it's called 2 pitchers because the brewery was started by 2 former baseball pitchers, not in reference to the volumetric measurement. Okay, now and then, I'm in the midst of eating processed black and white cookies. Now that I'm a few days removed from the homemade black and white cookies, and I'm in the thick of the processed ones, they are starting to become more and more appealing as they become my new normal. They become my new baseline. Taste is relative. July 3rd, 2026, it was a Friday. 7 a.m., counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 10 a.m., a bad grandpa combo at Sunrise Biscuits in Lewisburg, North Carolina. 12:30 p.m., a chocolate and vanilla soft serve swirl cone at Lucky's Dairy Bar and Grill in Boydton, Virginia. 4 p.m., Big J crab dip with bruschetta crackers. I always forget how to say it. Bruschetta? Bruschetta? And a pour of Pitcher's Brewing grapefruit and blood orange radler. 5 p.m., half of a red plum and black and white cookies. Hold on, I'm going to look up how to say it. Oh, yeah, I'm right. Bruschetta. Okay. Sunrise biscuit, bad grandpa combo with a boomerang-shaped hash brown, which was interesting. It felt like a mistake. Everything tasted dirty. I ended up taking the bacon off of it. Okay, so let me just tell you what the bad grandpa combo is. It's first of all, it's a huge biscuit. Brian ordered 2, which was a mistake for him. He said, "A huge, fat, cat head style biscuit, very wide and flat." It had egg, cheddar cheese, which is surprising to me, not American, bacon, and, a fried chicken thigh, boneless on it. I should have put hot sauce on it. Could have used a little bit of salt. The bacon tasted dirty. I took it off. Um, Chicken wasn't that bad. It was really cheap. The hash brown was not as good as Bojangles or McDonald's. It came with a big tea, which I substituted Diet Coke instead because I didn't realize they had unsweetened tea, which was my mistake. I should have gotten an unsweet tea. Brian drank about 4 giant styrofoam containers of unsweet tea. This place was haunted. It seemed like it might have been an abandoned Chinese restaurant at some point, and they left all their plants behind. There's these giant, like, the plants have gotten so big, they've fallen on the ground and they're sort of curling around like a telephone cord and then growing back up into the pot. It's insane. It's like when you see people who have, like, been growing their fingernails for 50 years. That's kinda what it looked like. Huge space, maybe 4 tables. It's haunting. A lot of dead plants. Brian got 2 biscuits, one of them was double ham. I said, "What is double ham?" "It's 2 slices of country ham." So you could get triple ham, which is 3 slices of country ham. A woman behind us tried to order a single sausage patty, and they said no. Um, as we were eating, we decided to eat inside because the drive-through was bonkers. A man with a pistol strapped to his hip walked in, so I instantly felt safer in case a squirrel got in or something. He should have finished off the dying houseplants and shot at them. Um, then we drove around on random scenic byways, which were like scenic byways to nothing. Like a scenic byway to another Dollar General. It made me wonder if maybe one day it's only a matter of time before the current administration privatizes all American roads and sells them off to whoever owns Dollar General. And they end up only maintaining the roads between all the Dollar Generals. And if you want to drive anywhere, your only choice is to drive from Dollar General to Dollar General. Went to Lucky's, which is my fave spot. I accidentally went to Lucky's. We accidentally drove by it and I screamed and we pulled over. Brian ordered a chicken salad sandwich. They said, we're making it right now. Can you wait 10 minutes? So we sat in the heat. It was 100 degrees out. We sat in 100-degree weather to wait for them to make chicken salad. I ordered a swirled cone. I'm going to get vanilla next time because the chocolate's just bad. You got to get a vanilla cone. And I would just get a vanilla sundae next time with the hot sauce. But so I sat there in the 100-degree heat, slowly eating a soft serve cone. The best thing about a soft serve cone is that the first bite and the last bite are both perfect in a different way. And it really is a perfect experience. The chicken salad was pretty, it was okay. I mean, it was on like white toasted bread, super minced, had a ton of sweet relish in it. I don't even know if they put mayonnaise in it. It was like a sweet relish chicken salad. And then they served, or it came with waffle potato chips, which was interesting. Where did you get those? Oh, then we drove past Buchanan's General Store, which is the oldest operating family-owned general store in the American Southeast. Went home and drank the disgusting Radler. Brian, who is a huge fan of crab dips and dips in general, did not like this Big J's crab dip. He said it tasted too strongly of crab or canned crab. I thought it was pretty good for a store-bought crab dip. It was definitely better than the crab dip we got from a seafood place in Connecticut from my mom. So the folks of Reddit are agreeing with Brian. An abomination, they say. What else are they saying? Several people threw it away after one bite. It's fine. I don't hate it, but I'm not running back to the store to get another one. And I'm glad that I got it on sale, but I'm still regretting buying it now. I would have eaten it if Brian hadn't said it was gross, because now I'm just going to think it's disgusting. This is on the Costco subreddit. Someone wrote, "No to the crab dip. One bite straight into the trash. Awful. Not sure why I thought this was a big idea. I tried it last year and it was no good. I'm pretty sure there were posts here last year about it not tasting good. Apparently the lobster dip is bad. I had it on a BLT and liked it. Wasn't eating it straight, though. It was the first sample I've ever spit out. It was so fishy and awful. This was 3 years ago. Maybe they've changed the recipe. July 4th, 2026. It was a Saturday. 7 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 11 a.m. 2 sunny eggs and fried potatoes with chives, bacon, and chili flakes made at home. 2:30 p.m. Cheese curds and part of a cherry cheesecake malted milkshake from Cookout in Oxford, North Carolina. 5 p.m. Bruschetta crackers and a pour of 2 pitchers Radler. I made perfectly fried potatoes. I got a bag of Yukon Golds on sale at Whole Foods. Used them all, which is perfect because the next day Brian started harvesting our potatoes. So last year I had like 4 extra bags of potatoes I had to get through before we could start eating our own potatoes, which is stupid. So I timed it perfectly this year. I made a Chinese chili flake, garlic powder, and chive base, and I strained the hot potatoes and a tiny bit of their oil into that base to sort of kiss everything, like when you're making a chili crisp. And you pour hot oil over the chili flakes. Really good. And the garlic powder just gave it that, like, I don't want to say like acid, but like tang. That sounds weird. It was great. Oh, so yeah, today was July 4th. Usually, Brian has a family reunion every year on the July 4th for as long as time has happened. It was canceled this year, thank God, because it was 100 degrees and everybody would have passed away. Brian insisted that we drive to Walmart since that was the most American thing that we could possibly do on July 4th. It's also one of the only things that's open on July 4th. We stopped at Cookout on the way just to pile on the American. And then we drove to the hot Walmart parking lot and ate the hot Cookout food in the hot Walmart parking lot. It's probably 120 degrees. What is more American, strapping a pistol onto your hip to go eat a double ham biscuit or eating Cookout in a hot car in a Walmart parking lot? Spent the rest of the day. Wait, did we even get anything in Walmart? Brian went into Walmart. He was gone for like 20 minutes. Our milkshakes melted in the car while I was waiting for him. Even with the air on. That's how hot it was. And he got 4 packs of ramen and a bottle of Diet Coke. Or Coke Zero, rather. What a stupid day. Spent the rest of the day watching a British documentary series to balance out the Americanness of it all. Started watching Clarkson Farm, which was excellent. I just thought it was a mini series. I didn't realize there were 5 seasons of it. So we watched the full first season, and my jaw dropped when I realized it was a full show. Okay, I didn't know who Jeremy Clarkson was, and Brian looked him up. He's done a lot of problematic things, and I am going to acknowledge that. Despite that, it is a good show. It's good because of the people around him, the locals that he works with, the issues that come up. I mean, a lot of it makes fun of him because he doesn't know how to farm. There's one guy there's like a 72-year-old man with a mullet named Gerald who works for him, and I mean, it's indecipherable. You can't understand a word he says. It makes me think of when you read Wuthering Heights, there's like a servant in the book and you can't understand anything the servant's saying and they write his script differently. It's like, he's speaking some sort of like English dialect that is indecipherable. Even the local British people can't understand him. Anyway, Jeremy Clarkson being problematic aside, he definitely says some weird things in the show. That aside, it is a good documentary series. I think they show a lot of the inner workings of farming. And I gotta say, I should have just gotten a plain vanilla malt shake, which is what I ordered initially from Cookout, and then I changed it last minute to the cherry cheesecake plus malt, which is too much. And the cheesecake on its own would have been great, but in the shake, the contrast, the cheesecake tasted too tart and sour to me, and I couldn't do it, and Brian drank most of my milkshake. I'm coming around to appreciating vanilla again and the simplicity of it, especially a Bluebell vanilla, which people describe as having like an MSG-like quality. There's like a umami vanilla, and I understand. It's actually good. Brian got the watermelon shake, which is only available at Cookout during July. I accidentally took a sip of it. It was disgusting. I'm not really into cucumber and watermelon. July 5th, 2026. It was a Sunday. 8 a.m. Counterculture coffee with half and half made at home. 11 a.m. A sunny egg over fried potatoes with chives and chili flakes made at home. Oh, wait. Let me back up. Oh, yeah, bacon. I had like 2 leftover strips of that bacon, and I chopped that up, cooked it and chopped it up real finely and mixed it in with the fried potatoes the previous day, and that was perfect. Okay, sorry. A sunny egg over fried potatoes with chives and chili flakes made at home. 3 p.m. Wavy Lay's potato chips with French onion dip, 2 glasses of La Marca Prosecco, steak with mushrooms and A1 sauce, twice baked potato casserole, mixed greens, Cheesecake Factory frozen brown bread with salted butter, and an ice cream sandwich icebox cake at Brian's parents' house. So I had potatoes 3 ways on this day. Brian, as I mentioned, started harvesting the potatoes. He got up at 5 AM to start harvesting them, brought them back, and I said, "Okay, let's fry potatoes again, because we gotta get through these potatoes." I'm gonna probably be making potatoes every day for the foreseeable future. Also, my sage plant, I don't know what to do with it. Sage isn't supposed to grow well here. I'm in this difficult zone where it just is, like, too hot and too humid for it. I don't know. According to everything I've read, like, I just live in the perfect exact spot for sage to not grow, but my sage plant is ripping. It is exploding. I don't know what to do with it because I don't love sage. I figured it might survive in time for Thanksgiving, but I'm thinking I might have to fry some sage leaves with some potatoes. That might be nice. Does anybody still fry sage leaves? Okay, so we went over to Brian's parents' house for his first cousin once removed birthday. How do you make that possessive? First cousin once removed. Can you make that possessive? His first cousin's once removed birthday. That makes it sound like their birthday was removed. First cousin once removed's birthday. Okay. We opened the door to go over early because Brian was going to make the steaks, and Brian's mom was on the couch watching a screensaver on the TV. We ate dinner. Someone left a scary ambient spa music video on for the entire dinner, which is actually perfect for a birthday party for an 18-year-old wearing studded cuffs. We had La Marca Prosecco. Brian's mom was pouring me huge glasses of it. Maybe that's also why I feel terrible today. Brian's mom was telling us that one of her friends came over with her daughter, and she tried to serve them Prosecco, and the daughter said, "Oh, I don't like cheap champagne." To which Brian's mom replied, "Well, excuse me, then don't come to my house." Of course, the dessert was Cool Whip based. I would say it was about 60% Cool Whip. There were multiple containers of Cool Whip used in this dessert. So it was ice cream sandwiches, and then it sort of had like it was layered. So there were peanuts in it, maybe some chocolate and caramel, and Cool Whip. And it was a giant stack. It was pretty good, but it was as you know, ice cream sandwiches now are not actually made with ice cream, and they didn't melt. It was really weird. I mean, maybe it's perfect. You could bring it to a picnic on a hot day and it wouldn't go anywhere. And then finally, Brian's parents, they went to Eataly in Boston. They thought it was a Boston exclusive. We had to explain to them that Eataly is all over the place. After they explained in detail to us what Eataly was, we were like, "No, we know." And what did they bring back? They brought me a bag of ground Lavazza coffee, which I am eager to open and taste. And they got Brian's brother a bag of tartellini, which are those crackers that look like tortellini. But Brian's mom was like, "Oh, I got you some tortellini." And Brian's brother was like, "Oh, great, I'll cook this when I get home. What sauce should I use for it?" And I had to tell him, "Don't cook that. Those are crackers." So once he realized they were crackers, Brian's mom was upset that she realized she had purchased her son crackers. They're nice crackers, though, and we all opened them and tasted them. They tasted like a nice Cheez-It. They're very good. They were cheese and pepper. Um, that's it. That's all I got. Oh, I almost made it under an hour. Okay, I'll talk to you later.